And now back to Insights on Leadership in Life with your host, Roberta Pickett.
Welcome back to Insights on Leadership in Life. I'm your host, Roberta Pickett, and I'm here with Sandi Sims and Susie Miller, and we are talking about happiness. We talked about the past and making peace with it. We talked a little bit about the future and having confidence in it, but what about the present? So, you know, we have that right to pursue it. We sing about it. We write about it. We agonize over it. It really comes down to, though, moment to moment, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you really think about it.
I mean, there's many times I'll be just, be at the kitchen sink washing dishes. I see my husband out there playing with the dogs, and that just makes
Puts a smile on your face.
Yeah.
Little things.
Little things.
Yeah,
Just
I think it's nature's way. I think it's a natural. I don't know what the word I'm searching for. It's a natural way of life. I think sometimes that is your main feeling is to have happiness and stuff. There's a lot of people that don't have materialistic things, but they're very, very happy because they're content inside.
Yeah, and I think that's the secret, it seems to me, is being able to take a moment and find pleasure in whatever it is. Very zen, I guess you could say. But because I think back to a time in my life when things were really rotten, and I thought,
dark.
It was dark, exactly. Yeah. However, I found that in fact, it was Christmas time, and I was watching kids play, going up to Santa Claus and the interaction, or just listening to, the songs on the street, and realizing that in spite of the other things that were going on in my life, I could still have that moment of happiness or joy.
Oh, yeah. And sometimes once you have that, it starts spreading.
Exactly.
Exactly. And I think people have to realize there's going to be bad times in your life because that's part of growing up. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I think it's good for you to have bad times because it
makes you appreciate the good times.
Makes you appreciate it, but it makes you a stronger person. If you know you can get through adversity and stand on your own 2 feet, I would tell my mom, let me cut the umbilical cord. I have to learn to fall down to stand up. Mm-hmm. Because you parents have a tendency wanting to protect yourself.
Or you find people that always have to be on the run. They always have to be with people. They've got to go out. They've got to do this. They can't stay at home. What are you afraid of?
They can't stay by themselves.
To wait for reality to set in. I mean, there are people that I know that every night's a fiesta or a party. You can't put your feet up and say, hey, you know what? Yeah. And it's okay to have a good cry. It's okay to say, my gosh, what am I doing? This is all coming down on me. And then you say, okay, now what do I do? Make a plan, step up, and see it through. But
it's almost like you have to get into that real moment.
Well, I think it has to be also, you have to be able to accept yourself.
Absolutely.
And once you accept yourself for who you are.
Good, bad, and indifferent.
Mm-hmm. That's it. And I'm at the age now that when I was younger, I was very, very aware that people, I was afraid what people were saying to me because I was just really paranoid about that because, now I don't care. Because I figured they're not coming to my funeral, so why should I worry about it?
Absolutely.
And that actually helps. I mean, when you realize that, you do for yourself, not for your neighbor, in the sense that it's everything's going to be what you like to do. You're not trying to impress anybody but your own self. And that can make you happy because once you learn that and you get comfortable in your own skin, you're willing to accept a lot more that's happening out there.
Absolutely. And you're able to... You're not doing it for other reasons. You're doing it for your own purpose. And I think that's the key is that so many of us early on, we live half our life, doing it for other people, or doing
Right.
what other people expect of us, or living up to somebody's expectations.
Sure, and
at
that
this
starts
point
out
in
when
our
you're a
life, we don't
child,
have to.
because
you don't want to disappoint
because
your
your parents, and that's important. And then when you get married, you don't want to disappoint your husband. You want to do things, but there are people out there that they don't take other people's feelings into consideration. They will do what they want to do, and if they hurt you or whatever, they don't care.
Well,
So they have
and
to
that's
have
different from what you were saying.
Yeah, you can't have malice.
No, so that's the type of person that has to look in their inner self and say, you know what, I have to stop that.
Yeah.
I've got to get rid of that ugly side of me, and I've got to go forward. We only have so many days on Earth.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing we don't
And
know.
we don't know how many
So
those
why not?
are.
And when you get older, like I said, when you get older, you put different things in perspective. Having 5 little black dresses and the shoes and this and that doesn't count anymore. Be able to button your pants is what that counts.
Absolutely.
Little things don't. I mean, these little things that put a smile on your face. That's important. These big things. Let's face it. Those years are behind us. We have to grasp.
You're not going to get in the size 6 anymore.
No.
But even, how important is that lesson to learn if you were 20 again? If we could teach our grandchildren to find that sense of happiness in the moment.
I don't think we can.
Well, we can't. I
they
know.
have to.
But
They
I think
have
there
to
are
fall.
skills that you can learn.
Absolutely, and I think today that we have better skills, and people help people manage things much better than we did. It was like with me. It was like, well, what is your problem?
Well, it's like when I moved away from home, I got phone calls from my mom's sisters. How dare you move away from home? You're not married.
There you go.
Oh dear, heaven forbid.
Well, they were first generation.
Yeah.
Sure.
From Europe.
Well, and we've talked about this before about
Yeah.
the whole women's movement too. I mean, things have changed a
Well,
lot.
absolutely.
for
But I
women.
think what we need to do, if you want to have that type of, what you're saying, your kids and stuff, is you got to give them self-reliance
Right.
early in life.
Let them fall.
Let them fall. Let them.
That's what concerns me about the school system, actually, in today's world, with not allowing them to get hurt on the playground, so they're not allowed to
Or
run. and-
Everybody wins the game. There's no losers.
There's no
That- I don't think that's
ABCDs
helping them.
anymore, or whatever.
You lose 12 to 1, but nobody loses. No, you sucked. You only got 1 run, and the other team got 12. I mean,
well,
that's just normal.
Yeah,
It doesn't
Learn
mean
to
you're a
deal
bad
with-
person,
No.
and that's
You
I
had a
think
bad
that's
day.
what you need to that needs to be taught
And
is
teamwork.
You can be a good person and not be a good.
Well,
That's
they
right.
got to do that
sports.
because when they get out into life,
It's
and,
part of
and,
life.
and they go to a
Absolutely.
job and stuff, it's not going to be,
No. All the pats on the back.
no.
So part of it is learning about yourself and living in the moment, and part of it. What about cherishing your relationships? Isn't that something we can?
I think that's one of the most important
yeah,
things.
and
is
that's something we can teach, and if
Yeah.
people can, the more they can realize that early on, to really cherish and nurture relationships. That are
I
in your
never
life.
had, and I guarantee you Sandy's the same way. I never heard my mother maybe once or twice in my lifetime, oh, I love you, whatever, but hardly ever say that.
Really?
I never hang up the phone that my girls and my grandkids and my son-in-laws, we never end a conversation unless it's with I love you.
Yeah.
I love you too, talk to you later. And I never got that. And I bet you didn't get that much either.
Not once I get past a certain age.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I wasn't Shirley Temple.
Well,
And, no, my father did. Now, my father, but
but you wonder, was it because he gave you that,
he
or?
had me late in life.
But it's interesting, though. I mean, you got more acknowledgement back from him. So,
Oh,
did
yeah,
you
he were like that.
Did your
My father-
relationship happen because he gave more back to you, or did you? Which came first, the chicken
we
or the
were
egg?
we were so alike because we were like only a week apart in birthdays, and
Plus, you were much younger than your sibling.
well, yeah, my sister was 33 when I was born.
Right.
Wow.
See,
Oh,
so
he
that
was a
ma-
dirty old man. But, but the funny thing is, my sister and my sister was very close to my father. She had no relationship with her mother. I was very close to my father. I didn't have a good relationship with my mother. And it was his personality. He was like a giant Peter Pan sometimes. He just didn't grow up. And
which was good as a kid.
well, yeah. And unfortunately, she had him when he was younger.
Mm-hmm.
I had him when he was older. And I think till the day she died, she was hoping I would fall off a cliff somewhere. But anyway,
you both got to love him.
Yes, but
different
lost.
phases.
I lost him when I was 14.
Oh,
you know,
sad.
but it was so I kind of put every man I ever dated or anything like my father.
You compared them to your dad.
Because he had a sense of humor.
Yeah.
It was
so did my
some
dad.
of his traits.
Some of those traits I had to look for. Yes, I had to look for.
Yeah.
Do you think that
I
a
still
lot of
don't know
times?
how I got Gary.
But do you think a lot of times too that when you're looking for somebody, is that you kind of compare them to maybe the marriage or to your father or the marriage that they had or whatever? You know, you kind of look at that. I never did. Maybe I should have.
Because
But
my parents were 2A personalities,
Ah.
and God help them if they had to put something together because the instructions got thrown away, and it was really fun. I learned a lot of words when I was a child.
yes.
But I always said, you never say, I will not, I bite my tongue so I don't say something you can never take back.
That's
that's
really,
very important.
And no
really
matter
good
how
important.
angry I get or what's happening or something, I make sure I don't say something I can never take back, because once that word's out there, it's just like the internet.
So one of the things that I want to say to both of you is thank you for being on tonight.
Thank you for having
I
me.
can't believe that hour has gone by. It always goes so fast. And you know, happiness is about finding peace with that past and having confidence in a future that is possible, and definitely living in the now. So come back and see us again next month on Insights in Leadership and Life. Till then, may you find joy in every journey and wisdom at the end of every trail. Take care. Bye.